ladies, Sharon's here. How are you this week? I'll tell you, I have done a video on the 5 steps to have a flawless crease. Now, I'm going to insert a lot of tips. I'm going to insert some products, and I'm going to insert techniques that I use. It may not work for everybody, but it works for me. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Take what you want, throw the rest away. It's all good. But I hope you enjoy it thoroughly. And stay tuned, because at the end I added 2 more bonus tips for you. So let's get started, my ladies, okay? Be sure and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And hit that like button. Here we go. Tip number 1, girls, is you have a freshly washed face. You've got the majority of your skincare put on ahead of time. Now let's concentrate on the eyes. Before we can start any makeup regime, we're going to hydrate the under eyes. That's where our crepiness is. That's where the dry patches are. I personally am using the AOX by SkinCeuticals, and it is an eye gel. Now, you don't have to use this. When MAC puts out an eye gel that's extremely moisturizing and hydrating, you can put any under eye cream under there. But understand, it is eye cream. It is a day eye cream, not a night. Day eye cream is thinner, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to put some on my finger like this. Rub it between the two, because kind of want to warm up the product. Makes it a little runnier, nicer, smoother. And I'm just going to apply it under my eyes, just like this. I'm going to kind of tap and move it around. Now I also put it up towards the brow bone and going into the hoods just a tad. And then pat, pat, pat. The thing about it is you want the product to sink in. And it takes a few minutes. We're going to let this sit now for about 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes I let it sit and sink in about 5 minutes. So I'll be back in 5 minutes and we'll go from there. Okay, ladies, this has been sitting now for about 5 minutes. And I wanted to mention another thing before we go on to our next step. When you're hydrating your under eyes and getting them ready to correct and to contour and to conceal and what have you, let's say you're going to a fancy event, okay? And you might want some eye patches. You want a little quick hydration. These are under eye patches, and some of them go right above the eye. You can close your eye and just let the little mask sit on there. These eye masks are sensational for giving tons of hydration under your eyes, especially right before you go out for another event, okay? Something really special like a Christmas event, perhaps, okay, ladies? All right, so voila. Now we're going to go to step 2. The next thing we want to do is prime the under eyes. Now, there's lots of ways you can prime the other eyes. You can get a regular eye primer. You can get an eye primer from just about any brand you want. I, on the other hand, particularly use my Smashbox silicone. Now, Murad puts out a silicone blur that is good to prime your under eyes before you start correcting and work out. If I'm going to go ahead and use this primer all over my face, I will prime under my eyes as well. So I'm just going to squirt out a little bit for under my eyes. Again, I'm going to kind of rub it together, and I'm going to place the primer under my eye. And of course, with any silicone primer, and that's my choice of primers because I absolutely love the look it gives. Put my primer everywhere else too while I'm at it. Okay, and we're just going to let that sit for a few minutes. Oh, let's give it 5 more minutes, ladies. How about that? Okay, I'm back again. One thing I wanted to tell you also is that there are two other products that are absolutely amazing primers under your eye. And one of them being, it's by Genifique, and it's their Pearl Rollerball Eye Cream, so to speak. It's in a little silver bottle, and you pull it out, and it's got the round little metallic dome at the end. It moves all around your eye. Keep it in the refrigerator, take it out, and run that ice cold ball all around your eyes, and it'll take out the puffiness under your eyes. The next one is an eye product by Amazing. Amazing is another great primer, and you keep that in the refrigerator, and you take it out, and it has 3 tiny little roller balls around it. I'll put a picture up here of it, and you can just rub it around your eye, and it can remove the puffiness. So these are the primers that I recommend that you start with. Of course, I'm a silicone girl, okay? Moving on to tip 3. Okay, ladies, I have my foundation on. I just took it up to here. Now we're ready for tip 3. And tip 3 is about color correcting. If you have the blues in the corner and the blue dark colors in the corner of your eyes, and that you've got some veins, capillaries breaking underneath, or any blue under here, we want to even out the skin tone. So we're going to take a corrector. A peachy corrector is the best. Now, I take a MAC. This brush is, I think, a MAC 242, and I have a Smashbox pencil corrector. And yes, I can use the pencil, but I like to take my brush and I run it over the tip of the corrector like this. I'm going to start in the corner of my eye here and brush the corrector down and move it along to blend it out. Now I'm going to use my finger, because obviously if you warm it up it's going to smooth out better. It's going to be more even, because the heat of the body temperature hitting together like this smooths out the product. I'm going to put a little bit more under here and do the same thing. Take your finger and press it out. Okay, so I have my peach color corrector on that eye. I'm moving over to the next eye. Same method, taking my brush. I'm going to start at this corner, covering that dark spots up. I'm moving down to the eye and blending. I'm even going to move down to the hollow as well on each eye. So I take my finger and I'm blending, adding heat to that as well. It mixes the product and makes it kind of marry into the skin, if you know what I mean. So you don't look like you're just walking around with a big peach color stuck in, you know, on your face. And just blend it. See, fingers do come in handy. Alright, my ladies, so we have the corrector on and that's blended. One thing about using the corrector is you're going to find that you use less concealer on your eye when you use the corrector. Not only that, but it's taking care of the blue, the little horrid dark spots in the corners of your eyes. We don't want that to show up because it puts a shadow on the eye and makes you look a lot older. So, moving on now to tip 4, my ladies. Now we've got to find the right concealer, right? Okay. I have 3 different concealers that are my favorites. And I'm going to add a drugstore in there with it. And one of them is the Age Rewind, which I truly love. It is a thinner consistency, but it works beautifully. The next concealer is my Naked Skin concealer. Love it. But the queen of all queens, the bomb of all bombs, is of course the Tarte Shape Tape. Now I'll be demonstrating. I may do a drugstore over here and then Shape Tape over here. We'll try that. Okay, I'm going to take my Age Rewind. Now some people don't like this because it's got a rubber tip on the top, and sometimes they think it's unsanitary, and I get all that. You could tear off the sponge, you know, end of this, and then you could just dip a brush in and take care of it, but it's whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'm going to start applying my concealer, so I'm going to start in the corner here and go under the eye, just like this. Okay, now I'm going to take a beauty blender because I find that works best when you're working with concealer into the eye, and you just press that concealer in. Just keep pressing. You can even take your finger and go over it. Now, if you wanted to bring it down further for more brightness, you can. I have enough pores and little lines. I don't want to emphasize that. So I don't want to bring my concealer down to a complete V. But as you can see, this is the Age Rewind. It's super simple, super fast, and works like a charm. If you're in a hurry, this is a great concealer. Now, I want to show you a little bit about the Shape Tape, because this to me is really the bomb, but you got to be careful. The consistency is super thick, and if you use too much of it, you're just going to have a big dadgum mess. Do you know what I'm saying? And you really don't need that much with the corrector like I showed you. So I take this, and basically, that's about all I put on there. Truly. Now, before I start with my beauty blender, I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to kind of rub like yay and kind of rub up like yay. Then I'm going to take my beauty blender and start evening it out, blending it out into the eye. If you look up, you can get right up under those lashes pretty good. Okay, so there our eyes are concealed. Can you kind of see the difference between the Age Rewind and the Shape Tape? This is a lighter consistency, but it's very bright. The Shape Tape does the same. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you, immediately you want to do one eye at a time. I did both of them to show you the difference in the products. Tip number 5 is setting one eye quickly before the other eye. Let's say you already used your concealer under this eye. When you're done, immediately take a translucent powder like the By Terry Hyaluronic Powder, the Ben Nye, the Cameo or Yellow Powder, or even the e.l.f. little setting powder. That's excellent. You rub it in there. Now, I personally used to just tap and let it go. Makeup artist the other day told me when you put that in there, you go back and forth with this powder under your eye. Look up to make you sure you get all the lines and go all the way down. This way, it gets in all those fine lines. But I don't always do that, I'm telling you, because my eyes are real dry underneath. And a lot of times I just conceal and let it go. And then you go to the second eye and you repeat the same process, the back and forth, back and forth. But the idea is to quickly set the eye so any cakiness doesn't set in her lines, okay? And voila, ladies, there you are. Now let's move on to 2 bonus tips I have. You thought I just had 1, but I have 2 bonus tips. The first one being that for those of you that have large bags under your eyes and the bottom of the bag comes down to here, you want to take a smaller little brush with some concealer on it, and you want to go under the bag with it and just tap it out like that. that covers up the shadow that the bag is making on your face. Remember what I said? You know, light, you know, it brings it forward, and darkness decreases it. You want to take that bag that's, you know, cuffed in there, creased in there, and you want to bring it out. So you just put the concealer under here and just blend it with your finger or a brush all over, and that takes care of that. And bonus tip number 2 is, my ladies, yes, I have another one for you, is I have so many of you say, well, Sharon, in around noon or 1 o'clock or maybe even later in the day, we find that everything is caked in between the lines and it's all looking dry and tacky. What can we do? Hark, hark, we still have other errands to run, other people to meet. What is a girl to do? Well, I have the most fantastic trick ever. I've mentioned this in numerous videos. I give all the credit to L for Living because she is the one that brought this to YouTube eons ago. But she showed us a roller ball, mind you, okay? I'm going to take the top off and show you. It is a roller ball, and in it she would put a jojoba oil or something like that. If she got somewhere where she felt like she was caking up, she would just run this under the eye once and just tap, tap, tap to smooth out the line showing, and it totally hydrated and moisturized underneath. She also mentioned another product as well, and that was the Bliss Tex, and that is the Deep Renewal Stick. Now this is the one I faithfully carry. I love it. I just swipe it under my eye, and I just go like this if I need it later in the afternoon. I will list these down below, as well as the roller ball and the jojoba oil in it, because I'm telling you, these are godsends. And thank you, Elle, for that tip, because I use it to this day. So I want to thank each and every one of you. And I want you to write down all these tips and tricks that we talked about. And girlfriends, I'm going to go put my makeup on, and you can tell me how you love it. Well, what do you think, ladies? Voila. Okay, not bad for 69 years old, huh? Well, I think our under eyes are a process in the making, but I think we're getting there, okay? I hope you let me know the different ways that you handle your under eye wrinkles and bags. Feel free to comment down below. I would love to know what you're using that works. I hope you so much enjoyed this video, and I hope you have the most fantastic week ever. And to all my new subbies, hi girls, mwah, glad to know ya. And to my regular subbies, mwah, I love you, and I want you to stay sassy, classy, and confident. Give me a big thumbs up on this video, and do subscribe, like, and share.